Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe. I'm a Forbes contributor covering social entrepreneurship and impact investing. And we are really right in the sweet spot of my topic today. We're talking about impact investing with Clara Miller. She's the CEO and president of the FB Heron Foundation. And recently, the foundation, under her guidance, has committed to move 100% of its investments to impact. This is really an exciting development and really, if not absolutely unique, nearly unique in the foundation world. And so we're excited to have Clara on the show today. Clara, thank you very much for joining me.
Oh, I'm delighted to be here, Devin. Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate you taking the time. How did you come to this decision to move 100% of your assets to impact, to be mission consistent by 2017? Tell us a little bit about that decision-making process.
Well, long before I arrived at Heron, the foundation had done impact investing for years. And when I arrived, actually 40% of assets were examined for mission, were in mission-related assets, from public company stock all the way to program-related investments in nonprofits, all across the gamut, private equity, private debt, et cetera, bonds, you name it. And when I came, we slightly changed our look at the world, and we said really what we lack, poverty, which our mission is to help people in communities help themselves out of poverty. And poverty was not marginal anymore. It seemed to be structural. And we said, we've really got to go 100% to try to make the economy work for the people we care about.
It really is an amazing leap forward for the world to begin to see the way that money drives the economy. Mm-hmm. And you made a great point in your letter to the to your community. I think you said something along the lines of, if we could just take money to people's foreheads, it wouldn't work. There's more than just money going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, doing what you say to make the economy work for more people, we've got to start investing with that mindset of making sure that our investments drive that good. What kinds of investments, what kind of thought process, what kind of analysis, what kind of structures are you using to create the gates, the borders, the boundaries to make sure that your investments are having impact?
Yeah, well, great set of questions, and we ask them ourselves every day. And I think that first and most fundamentally, we take an enterprise view of our portfolio, and that's a tough thing to do for investors. Usually you're looking at asset classes. So you're looking at public company stock in mutual funds, let's say, but not necessarily at the underlying company. So that's the kind of primary lens. We say those enterprises, great enterprises, is where positive impact happens up and down the economy.
Well, that is a key insight, to shift away from managed funds and to begin looking at individual investments. Perhaps it also saves money as you take out an intermediary in the process as well. Now, you came from the nonprofit finance fund, as I recall. How have you leveraged your experience there to influence what's going on at FB Heron?
Sure. We think of our grants and as part of our investment portfolio, and lots of people say that, but we actually track financial return. We say we have a specific financial role. We are a growth capital investor, whether it's a nonprofit or a for-profit, and we are looking for exposures that help organizations increase their impact, and we want to follow that. But we invest at the enterprise level. So we're trying to help nonprofits get the same kind of capital that a growing for-profit enterprise would have. It's just that we don't take an ownership stake when we do that. And my background at Nonprofit Finance Fund, making literally thousands of loans to nonprofit organizations over a number of years, helped me understand the crying need for an equity-like investment in nonprofits.
Yeah, and that equity-like investment really is a grant, isn't it? But
Well,
then holding people accountable.
Yes, well, it's basically saying, what do these enterprises need to get them to the next level of sustainability, of quality, of size, of anything? Any growing enterprise, whether it's nonprofit or for-profit, needs growth capital when it grows. It needs to build capacity ahead of growth to actually deliver on its promises. And nonprofits don't really have access to that because they can't sell ownership shares. So we say, okay, fine, come in. We'll make you a grant along with a group of others who have similar interests. And so you get the capital before you grow, just like a for-profit would. We just don't take ownership shares because we can't legally.
Right, right. That thought process really is important. I think there is a tendency, and it's part of our great American socialization, to think about the need to take care of people and problems. And I think sometimes what we do is we feel good about ourselves, a certain feeling of mission accomplished when we have helped someone.
Mm-hmm.
And it is, thank heavens we do feel that way, because I think it causes us to help someone. But there's another side to that coin, and that is that there may be many, many others who need the same sort of help. And so that is about scale, right? And it seems to me that what you're doing is helping to drive people from that stage where they're helping a few to where they can help many.
That's absolutely right. And it's also making sure when they do that, they keep the quality that made them successful in the first place. Not every enterprise can grow healthily, can scale its wonderful work in a healthy way. But we look for those who are kind of poised to do that, who have revenue in sight so that they can grow, and we help them in that way. And then they can help more people.
Well, it is exciting work that you're doing. You really have had an impressive career. You've done amazing things and have become a leader and a role model to so many people. I wonder, who do you look up to as a role model?
Oh boy, there are so many. I mean, I could say my grandmother, I could say, but from the point of view of Heron, really, I guess you could say I really am a fan of Jane Jacobs, who was a great pioneer in urban planning, and who really was kind of a brilliant, what's the word for it? It was about brilliant common sense. She was a person who understood that community had to be retained, that you kind of made that things that seemed like they were revolutionary were really common sense. And I think so she's one. I think from the point of view of Heron, I'm a big fan of the teachings of Maimonides, who was a medieval scholar and came up with 8 ways of, the sort of 8 levels of charity. And at the top of the levels of charity, he said, it's helping someone to help themselves. And that's what Heron does. That's entirely the Heron Foundation philosophy, is that the best way to make the economy work for everybody is to give people the means to actually get work, to thrive, and to have a stake in the future themselves. And so I think that's a very wise person.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Clara, with the talent you have, the education, all of the experiences you've had, you could be doing just about anything in the world. I wonder why you've chosen a path in the nonprofit sector when you could be doing anything. You could be working on Wall Street and making 10 times the money. Why do what you do with your talent set?
Well, everybody knows that managing in the nonprofit sector is much more challenging. than managing in the for-profit sector. It is
Yes.
complicated. It is, I've written something about this. It's like the looking glass world of management. You know, you don't have profits, but you have to scale, figure it out. And I've had dear colleagues come over from the for-profit side. One of the founders of Capital One, George Overholser, was a friend who came over, and he kind of, you know, he said, well, you know, you must be able to do that, and you must be able to do this. And after a couple of years, he finally looked at me and said, if you're a skier, you'll understand what I'm going to say. This is triple black diamond management over here in the nonprofit sector. And so I just like a challenge. You know, why settle for investment banking, for heaven's sakes? Why not do something really difficult?
That is a delightful insight. And, you know, I can tell you from my limited exposure to nonprofit management that hits the nail on the head. That's a great insight. Clara, you've been successful at what you do, really successful, and it's exciting to see that. What is something that you do every day, some part of your routine that helps you to be successful that you could share with the rest of us? We all want to be successful at doing good, just like you are.
Gosh, I think really it's spending time with people I love and respect who are from completely different backgrounds and, you know, ways of thinking than I am. You know, I love spending time with artists or business people or people in government, because you always learn something if you're trying to go outside your comfort zone, if you're testing your own, you know, kind of hidebound assumptions. That's where you grow. You don't grow by being the smartest person in the room, as we know.
Well, I don't know how you grow then. You're always the smartest person in the room, I suspect. But Clara, it's been great to have you today. Thank you so much for joining us. It's just been a delight to meet you, and exciting to see you leading the way on investing from a foundation. That's just really exciting to see you aligning mission on every dollar that you invest. So that's great. I know there will be people who are watching this interview, who are reading this article. They're going to want to be able to learn more about what you're doing. They may want to get in touch with you. What's the best way for people to learn more and connect with you?
I think it's really the Heron Foundation website. Google us, go there. There's lots of fun stuff there. There's going to be more fun stuff soon. We have a wonderful newsletter edited by Tony Johnson every week called In Case You Missed It. It's available through the website. So absolutely, please partake of the Heron community. We would love to be in conversation with everybody.
Oh, fantastic. Clara, thank you very much for being with us, and we wish you every success in your work.
Thank you, Devin, and thanks for having me join.
All righty. Let's do some good.
Okay.